Mr. Speaker, I seek permission to address the House.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to talk about our local allies in Afghanistan, those that are trying to come to the United States through the special immigrant visa program. Beside me here is one of the brave Afghan interpreters that stood alongside my Special Forces unit, my fellow Green Berets in Afghanistan during one of my tours. He volunteered for that duty. He stood with us in combat. He faced extremism head on. And when these brave Afghans stand up, Mr. Speaker, to stand with us, to stand with our soldiers as a critical asset that enables us to deal with the populace and communicate with the populace that we're trying to protect, but also fight alongside our Afghan security forces partners, we could not do what we have done in the last 20 years in Afghanistan and around the world, in places like Yemen, Syria, Iraq, in places like Africa, without these brave individuals that not only put their lives on the line, put their families' lives on the line to stand with us against extremism. We called him Spartacus. We didn't use his real name because if the Taliban found out that he was with us, they would not only track him down, they would track his entire family down. Well, unfortunately, after our redeployment, Mr. Speaker, the very thing that he needed to get a visa to the United States, the identification paperwork that he had fought with the United States, that he had fought with America, was found on him in a Taliban checkpoint. He was taken back to his home village and beheaded, along with his brothers and cousins in his family. This story of Spartacus is happening right now as we speak. The Taliban, as they slowly and methodically take over Afghanistan, are hunting these brave individuals down who stood with us against extremism. And we need to ask ourselves as Americans, what message are we sending in terms of keeping our promises, not only with the Afghans, but again, around the world. The bottom line is we need to get them out. We have a moral obligation to get them out. This is not just a moral obligation, but it's a national security obligation. The State Department has a 14-step process that takes over a year to do the appropriate vetting and to assign these visas. We don't have time for that anymore, with U.S. forces withdrawing within weeks. The Defense Department is ready to do an evacuation right now. The governor of Guam has said he is ready to accept these people, as they have done with our partners in South Vietnam, as they did with the South Koreans, as they've done with Cubans. We can process in a safe third country and then bring those individuals home. The Defense Department says they're ready. Guam says they're ready. Everyone is waiting on the green light from the White House. Where is that green light, Mr. Speaker? Where is it? Will President Biden stand up and stand with those and do the right thing with those of us that fought with us? And I have to be candid, he hasn't always done so. He didn't support the evacuation of our South Vietnamese allies when he was a senator. I pray and hope he will correct that past sin and stand with those who stood with us against extremism. I mentioned this as a national security issue as well. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Mr. Speaker, just testified that he believes there is a decent likelihood, a medium probability, that al-Qaeda will come roaring back in the wake of our withdrawal. So we must also ask ourselves, when our soldiers have to go back into Afghanistan, who are they going to have to fight alongside? Will they have anyone left that will not have been hunted down like Spartacus is? And finally, this isn't just an interpreter issue. 25% of the Afghan parliament is set aside for women. These women are also being hunted, abused, forced to stay home, not go into their elected office. Some have acid thrown on their face. Some are even executed themselves. Civil society leaders, journalists, all of those who have spoken out against the atrocities that we have seen, that we have fought against, are also being targeted. We have an obligation as an American people, as a military, to support those who have stood with us. And Mr. Speaker, should we not? Time is running out. The world is watching. And when that last American soldier goes wheels up, these people will have a death sentence, and there will be blood on this administration's hand. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield my time.